Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of Translating the Keys of the Hebrew Bible. If you look on your left-hand side, that I'm highlighting the word key here. It's also highlighting corresponding words in the Greek Septuagint and the Legacy Standard Bible. And I'm going through all of these occurrences of key as part of my dissertation, a linguistic analysis of the Hebrew word key. In today's verse, we don't really have anything too out of the ordinary for how we're going to translate it. I pretty much agree with how everyone has translated it up until this date. By way of reminder, we're translating key one of three ways: if or when, or that. And that as in, I saw that the dog was fluffy. So it turns a sentence into the object or subject of a verb. So in this case, we can put that to the side and we only really have two options, if or when. And those are highly related terms because when you say when, you're really just saying if, but you're adding the idea of expectation uh, to your conditional statement. So if I say, if the earth flies into the sun, we will all die, you're not imagining that I'm saying that I think this is going to happen. But if I say, when planet Earth flies into the sun, now you're understanding me as saying that I think this condition is going to happen at some point in time. So we're looking at God talking about people coming before him. So this is probably not if, it's an ongoing problem he's complaining about. So it makes sense as when, not a condition that might not be fulfilled, but something that is definitely happening. So let's look at it. When you are coming in or you come in to be seen, my face. Now, this is a difficult expression. What is to be seen? It's hard to tell because this is an infinitive construct. When you come in to be seen, my face. So is it Yahweh's face that's to be seen? Or is it the people who are coming in to be seen by Yahweh's face? It's not exactly clear. The grammar is ambiguous and can go either way. Septuagint views it as being seen by my face because it has uh, my face, well, to be seen by me. So the Septuagint, which is the earliest Greek translation, has gone the direction of, people are coming in to be seen by God. Now, perhaps they were conceiving of it as when you come and bring your sacrifices, God pays attention to you in a way that he doesn't normally pay attention to people. But nevertheless, this is a very weird construction. We would expect a preposition on my face, such as by my face, uh, and we don't have that. So in the absence of that, I think we can, with a fair level of confidence, say that the text has been changed. So let me show you the difference between, uh, I'll highlight the whole thing. Let me show you the difference between you come in to be seen by my face versus you come in to see my face. So here is you come in to be seen, and then my face. So by his face. So if we wanted to make this into uh, to see my face, those are the changes we would make. So you notice that none of the consonants changed, only these dots at the bottom changed. And the dots in the bottom were added in hundreds of years after Jesus walked the earth. So this is not something Isaiah himself wrote in. It might reflect an early, well, it does probably reflect an early interpretation. And the fact that the Septuagint seems to agree with it, then this is an interpretation probably from, I don't know, 100 BC. However, there's lots of other changes that have taken place in the text that texts that really don't make much sense, uh, such as names being changed into names no one would actually name their child, such as man of shame. No one has a child, looks at that child and says, "What horrible name could I give him?" I know, man of shame. I mean, it's not a thing that happens. But you have Ishbosheth, which is man of shame in a bunch of these texts. Meanwhile, the Dead Sea Scrolls tell us that his name was not man of shame; it was man of Baal. So he was a man of a foreign god. So the scribes didn't like that. They didn't like having man of uh, Baal be a character in the Bible. So they changed his name from man of Baal to man of shame. So we have many such changes. And when we're looking at this text, it's very possible that the uh, well, not quite the Pharisees, but the precursors to the Pharisees really didn't like the idea that people were coming in to see God's face. They didn't like that expression, so that maybe they thought, well, maybe you'll be seen by God's face. And so they changed the tradition of how they would pronounce this text, and then hundreds of years later, when the vowels were written in, it reflected that change in tradition. At least this explanation makes sense of the fact that there is no preposition on uh, my face. Do you expect by my face if it was you're coming in to be seen by my face? So the absence of the preposition needs an explanation. And I think we have it in pointing our fingers at the scribes and saying, you guys have a history of changing the text, but you don't like the theology. So we're going to assume you've done the same thing here. So when you're coming in to see my face, who seeks this from your hand? The trampling of my courts. So what is this that is sought from their hands? Well, it's the trampling of God's courts. That's a rhetorical question, of course. Nobody seeks the trampling of his courts, but yet they bring it anyways. So this verse is the beginning of a rebuke on how God views their sacrifices as nothing more than trampling of his courts. And if we were to somewhat modernize it, it would be like God saying, when you come to worship me at church, who requires that you trample all over my church with your worthless worship? So God has zero respect for the sacrifices they bring, the fact that they are taking time and money to come and worship him. He views as a trampling of his courts. It's an act of disrespect. It would have been better if they had never come. And of course, you have to go through a whole chapter to really understand what's being talked about. But you can take away from this verse that merely going to church and going for worship doesn't guarantee that God is at all happy with what you're doing. It doesn't matter that you're taking time out of your day or that your sacrifices were expensive, right? So if you come and bring thousands of dollars in offering, like a sheep today would cost, or a bull today would cost, that doesn't guarantee that God is happy with you. If you don't come in true faith, that is shown by a life that lives out uh, the principles that God teaches, then your worship is viewed as an offense by God according to this verse. And that's really something worth taking to heart. So yeah, that's our verse for today. Nothing too crazy in terms of deviating from the usual translations. Uh, just perhaps this one, I want to translate this one a little bit differently. If there's good reason to think that uh, the scribes changed it from what it originally said. I don't think it makes that much of a difference one way or the other to the overall meaning of the text if you don't translate this one exactly right.